Kitty here, and today I would like to do a story time on my accident that happened. A while back, I had a Ninja 400. I got that in like 2019. I'm sorry. The bike is 2019, and I got in a wreck this was last year. So this happened, I think, in probably either November or December that this wreck happened. And what was it, June? But yeah, I just want to go ahead and put this out as a vlog and a story time. So last year, it was a pretty bad accident. I was at home for almost like a month out of work. The I love riding a motorcycle, and so it was a Ninja 400. Uh, it was the first bike I ever purchased myself. I always rode on the back of my dad's bikes or like back of my friend's bikes, but I never actually owned one before. And so I was actually pretty happy to finally own a motorcycle. It was a dream of mine since I was 16. I had my license when I was 16, and so I really loved it so much. It was a black one. I'm still trying to learn how to insert photos. If not, I'll try to insert it somewhere here. But yeah, I loved it so much. It was getting used to actually riding one. Um, I got it when I was 23, I believe. And so, yeah, I loved it. 23 or 24. Anyway, I was using it as my main transportation. I had a Tahoe at the time, but I loved riding a motorcycle more. It was so enjoyable. I got to go to like bike meets and car meets with it. And yeah, I used it as my main transportation. DoorDash the hell out of it. I loved it. Um, yeah. So one day I was coming from work. I worked at a mall in one of those Japanese restaurants in the mall, and so I had my jacket, had my gloves, everything. Always wore my helmet and stuff, and I had to wear work shoes because it had to be slippers and shoes, so I had no bike gear really, except for my jacket and my gloves. I had my delivery bag that I was using the DoorDash right after work, and so it was like 100 degrees out, and it was super hot. I had one of those leather jackets that was a motorcycle jacket, but it's not like the ones that you can insert padding and stuff. This was like a real leather jacket, but it's not. It's a motorcycle jacket, but not like the. I didn't have any inserts or anything, so it would be better if I had that on. But I don't know. It's just I got so used to riding without the gear that I was like, I know it's a 30-minute drive back home, but nothing has happened yet. So let me just get home. Get home, I'm on the roads and the stuff, and green light hit, and I was going 45 miles per hour, and I started to uh, shift into fourth gear, going down the road. It was one of those roads where you had like stoplight here, and that's like every couple miles you got a stoplight. But this one was pretty wild till I got to the next stoplight. And so I was at 45 miles per hour, fourth gear, and uh, hardly any cars in front of me, just one. And so this one was pretty much ahead of me, like a while, like at least 6 cars ahead of me. And I'm looking ahead of me because you gotta be very observant when you're on a motorcycle because people don't care about whether or not you're on a motorcycle or not, and you're the only protections you got is your body, your protective gear, and that's what's in your helmet. That's what's keeping you from being like very injured on the road. Not like when you're in a car, at least you got the car itself, you got airbags and everything. That and you're protected more than you are on a motorcycle. And so yeah, you're protected more on the motorcycle. You're protected more in a car than a motorcycle. I'm sorry, I'm doing this at like 3 a.m. because I can't sleep. So, yeah, I decided to just go without the gear. Anyway, she was riding, and I'm looking ahead, and there's cars on the side of me and everything, but they're already ahead of me. And so I'm pretty much taking my time. The light is green, right? The light is green. It just went from red to green, right? And so I'm looking ahead. I'm like, okay, there's no need to stop. She is approaching the green light, and like here's the line, here's the light, and then she's right here. She's approaching it. She's approaching it, and then she slams on her brakes. I don't know why she slammed on her brakes, but as she slams on her brakes, here I am, right almost near her, like, just like 2 cars. And I'm like, why is she slamming on her brakes? I don't know why she's slamming on her brakes. She slams on her brakes, and so I'm panicking now, which I shouldn't have. I'm panicking, trying to shift down my gears, going for fourth gear at first, slamming down and trying to slow down as much as possible. See, because I'm literally almost on her ass, about to. I wish I vlogged the whole thing. I wish I had one of those cameras on my helmet or something to vlog this. I am now going to have one because it's fucking scary. Yeah. Yeah, she slams on her brakes on a green light, and so I'm wondering, I'm like, why? So this is all going through my head. My main focus is slowing down fast enough so I don't like ram into her. I I then was like, okay, obviously I can't slow down fast enough to avoid hitting her. The least I can do, there's no car in the other lane, I can swerve into the other lane so I can swerve in the other lane so I don't have to hit her. Still didn't work out. Here is her rear bumper. My bike ended up slightly hitting this side of her rear bumper. And at the time, I'm still going through shock, so I can't remember if I completely slammed into her. I just remember hitting her rear bumper. I hit her rear bumper, and I immediately fall on my left side. And so I'm falling on my left side, I'm sliding for like 5 minutes, and then I'm freaking out because I felt like I was going to die. And I had my delivery bag, and so I was like, I don't want to get severe road rash. So what I'm going to try to do is try to lift my arm up and hold myself up, and my backpack kind of helped my back enough because I had short sleeves on. I had short sleeves on, and so I'm holding my shoulder up and everything to avoid a lot of road rash because I know I'm not going to come out of this without road rash. And I open my eyes, and then I see my bike sliding in front of me, and I didn't feel no pain yet, it was just fear the entire time. The adrenaline was rushing and everything. And I finally stop. I hear ambulance. Somebody must have called the ambulance quick. Um, as soon as they saw it, because I saw cars. Sorry, I saw cars parked and everything. They immediately stopped. I heard ambulance. I heard police come immediately. It was really fast. I'm laying down. Um, I kind of lay on my back or my side, kind of like a little bit, and I'm freaking out. I think the first thing, like one of the guys was like, "Yeah, I ride a motorcycle too," and gosh, are you okay? Are you okay? Everybody's wondering. They're like, can you feel anything and everything? And I'm wondering, the first things I'm wondering is like, do you see my bones? And how bad is my arm looking? Because I'm afraid to look. Like, I'm terrified to see, because I know dang well that I wasn't wearing a jacket, and I was like, I know my arm, now that the pain is starting to feel through a little bit, because you're adrenaline out. I don't know how long it lasts, but I'm laying on my back, and so what I immediately try to do is get up. I'm laying down there for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm on my back, and I try to move my leg, and so I'm trying to bend my leg up, to see how bad my leg is, to see if I can just get up, because I'm laying in the middle of the road. Of course, people got places to go, so I'm trying my best to get up. I know the first things is when you're in that accident, um, no matter how severe it is, you don't want to take off your helmet immediately. Because if you have any sort of concussion or neck injury, your helmet is, sorry, I'm still sick. Your helmet is the main thing that keeps your neck safe because of all the cushion and stuff. So I didn't want to immediately rip off my helmet, but I felt fine enough to take off my helmet, and also like I had a screen and everything, and so at that moment it was hard for me to breathe. So I didn't want to take it. I wanted to take it off. Yeah. So the guy helped me take off my helmet, and he's holding my helmet and everything. I'm trying to lift my knees because I felt like if I could move my knees and bend my knees, maybe I could walk. The guy helps me up. He helps me up, and I get up. My arm hurts. This whole arm hurts so bad. So I'm holding my arm, and the the whole thing um, that I'm worried about is not even my body. It's my bike, because I don't have any family. I don't really have. I got friends, but they're all living their lives, and it's like that's my only transportation. If that goes down, I don't have any other transportation. There's I don't have a car on the side. Well, I'm sorry. I admit I forgot at that time I lost my Tahoe. So I did not have even my Tahoe at the time. I only had my motorcycle. I used to. I no longer had the Tahoe. So I no longer had other transportation. This was the only one. So I'm worried about that entire time. I was like, is my bike okay? Is my bike okay? They're like, the lady was so sweet. She was like, the bike can get replaced. You can't. And I understood that, but like, that's okay if you got like family and friends and stuff, and you know they can handle you. And the insurance I had at the time was, I think, uninsured motors and liability. So I didn't have full coverage. And so, yeah. So they lifted up my bike, put it out through the traffic lights. The guys helping me, two guys are helping me uh, get me up and walk. It's extremely hard for me to walk across the street. It was like so painful. I'm pretty much limping at this point, walking. Uh, of course, my left side of my leg hurts extremely. My back, my lower back on my left side hurts. It's the most painful spot because I guess that's where I hit first. Besides my leg, that part extremely hurt. Yeah, that part was very bad. It's a burning sensation and just painful. It felt like somebody just took a bat and just hit you right there. Um, the I guess they were asking me, do I need an ambulance? And I said, yeah. Um, I wish I could have went without one. I'm joking, because I kept joking around this because it was helping me get through the situation. They found it funny. Even the ambulance found it funny that I just kept joking. I was like, you're taking this better than most. The I couldn't. It's it was keeping me from crying at the time. The police were obviously there. They were asking me for my insurance and what happened at the scene. I recalled it the best way I could, and they were making the police report. I was trying to look for cameras because of the thing. Oh yeah, as soon as I got up, I immediately started looking for the other car. It was a white sedan car. Can't remember the make and model because all I remember seeing is a white car, white sedan car in front of me. My bike is black, so with me hitting it, there has to be a black mark on the rear bumper. Um, I can't find it anywhere. So I've not seen the car anywhere. Nobody else sees it, and I told them the description of the car the best way I could. They immediately left the scene. They didn't stay. So either one, they didn't feel it. Two, they just wanted to leave the scene, or they just left and did not care. Couldn't find the car, nothing. I am wondering what to do now, because if another car was there, no car was there, then what do I do? They're like, so since the car left, you're at no fault, and so I'm like, okay. So I'm recalling the situation the best way I can, and yeah, that was it. The ambulance gets there. Once everything's done, I'm trying to call every friend I could to come pick me up because I didn't want to go by ambulance because I knew that was going to cost a lot, but I did not know how much. Couldn't get a hold of anybody at the time. I think I got my friend Dylan to answer the phone at the scene. I know he came, but I didn't know if it was at the scene or at the hospital. I can't remember. I get the ambulances there. They park on the curb. because it's a very busy street. And so they had to put me on the stretcher. I was terrified going on the stretcher because uh, the little how they have to lift the wheels up. See, I'm scared of the little bump that might happen. I'm terrified of being just like carried on something like that. Cause it's like I know you got like people carrying you on that, and it's like a roller. But I'm terrified of being like the one person where you just fall on those things. I'm terrified of that. And so they lift me up on the stretcher, and I get in the ambulance. The ambulance is like tilted like this a little bit, and so my leg still feels weird. They're going to. I was still in my work uniform, so I had like on black slacks, which were tight, and then my shirt. They're checking all my injuries and checking my blood pressure and everything. Um, I'm mostly just still in shock. The I'm terrified at how bad my road rash looks. So luckily, my arm, I still got scars from it, but it was mostly like these long scratch marks from I guess when, cause your hand's here. I mostly had really bad on my knuckles. So you're holding your back like this and you fall. And so like scratch marks were all down this way. I should insert photos here. Yeah. So I had black scratch marks here. My knuckles, they're full of gravel and stuff. So I had gravel. It was bloody here on my knuckles, and I still have a really huge. I'm not trying to flick anybody off. I still have like a huge scar here, which was really bad. My knuckles. Um, on my lower back, it was a huge scar here. And I can show y'all here. This is where I also got road rash at. This is a scar. I don't know how long it's going to be there, but this was really bad also. It looks pretty much the same, but this one completely healed. But that was down there. Yeah. So that's just gonna be there. I don't know how long. My leg was horrible. I have multiple photos of what my leg looks like. My leg was horrible. Uh, I had scar tissue, not scar tissue, but road rash all down my leg. My knee was a little bit injured. Like I had a little bit of, oh yeah, right there on my feet. Because of course when you're riding, my foot was actually dragging. I spent $70 on slip resistant shoes, and they immediately got tore up. So they immediately got tore up, and so my ankle, it was like low shoes, and so my ankle here got scarred up, like really bad right there. So it was bleeding right there. It was painful there, and my knee was injured, and so the ambulance is 3 miles, and they charged me like $700 for 3 miles to go to the hospital. It was horrible. And so I'm talking with the guy, and what was crazy was they were like, "You're doing better than the other guy," because the other guy, he died. He was in a motorcycle crash. So I'm the second motorcycle crash that the ambulance guy picked up. Sadly, he passed away, which is really sad because that happens, and you just don't know when it might happen. I am blessed to survive. I know it was a a lot less of a severe crash. Luckily, I was only going 45 miles per hour, because if I was going any higher speed, like if I was on the highway or something, and I was going like 70, 60 miles per hour, it probably would have been a lot worse. Severely a lot worse. So I'm blessed that it was not as horrible it was. Anyway, we get to the hospital. We go to the back of the hospital. It's like East Alabama Medical Center. And they take me through the emergency part of it. And we're going down. I'm terrified of going off the ambulance. And we go through that way. Funny enough, about 3 of my friends work at the hospital. I wish they got to see me. I sent a text to them while I was at the hospital. One of them saw in the medical records that I was there. um, Days after. But we go and take me through the room, and the doctor's gonna check me out. They check everything. We gotta do x-rays. I can't remember if they cleaned me up first or they did x-rays. Uh, I'm signing papers, of course, and everything, and my friend gets there, so happy. um, I'm checking my insurance and everything. I did not have medical insurance at the time because the job I worked at, I did not have any benefits. Um, because she's a family business and everything, so I had no like company insurance, medical insurance, or anything like that. The only insurance I had was automobile insurance, and so I had no insurance on that for my job. Which the job I'm working now, I wish I was in a wreck with that insurance, because it would have been a lot better. Um, yeah. So I'm signing the papers and everything to check to see if I need any, um, if I had insurance or not. Anyway, so after that, they were checking my blood pressure and everything, and they're cleaning up my wounds and everything. When I tell you, being in the wreck was a lot less painful than when she had to clean up my wounds. When I tell you, when she had to clean all my other injuries, it was okay. But when I tell you I had gravel in my fingers and everything, she had to scrub it out. When I tell you scrubbing, I mean like it felt like you took like a scrub daddy while it was still firm and scrubbing that stuff out my face. Because I get it, you have to make sure it's clean so it doesn't have any bacteria and cause an infection, but it was so rough. It was crazy. She was scrubbing the heck out of it, and she bandaged it up, and once she was done, I was like, thank God. Luckily, I did not have to get any stitches or nothing like that. I am so happy that it wasn't so bad that I had to get stitches, because if I had to get stitches, I don't think I would have been able to survive that. I had to get a shot and everything, so they did that, and I think they took blood work for that. I think so. It's been a while. This is really bad. So afterwards, they did x-rays and everything. They did x-rays of my legs and everything. When I tell you, when I did x-rays, it was so hard for me because I was still in so much pain. They had to move my leg in different positions, and just doing that was so freaking hurtful. I was so much in pain. I had to bear through that so much. It hurt so bad.
Even just moving my side over and everything, it hurt every bit of it. My arm was probably less painful, but my leg, it was severely painful. Um, After that, it was, they checked every inch of me except for this part, which I should ask them to do that one too. But I wasn't trying to raise the, the medical bills up too much. They checked me. They were like, you don't have any fractures, no broken bones, nothing. No, they were right. You probably bruised the bones, but besides that, nothing. You're okay. Um, I'm pretty much just banged up, really bad. They were like, yeah, you don't have any broken bones or anything. So I was like, okay, that's good. So I don't have to come home in like a cast or anything. I had to do like different samples and stuff, and even going to the restroom was horrible because I had to be. My friend had to wheelchair me to the restroom. So embarrassing. So I was in a wheelchair the whole time. My other friends came later. So happy they came to like help comfort me and support me. Um, could not go back home because I needed somebody to help me because I could barely move on my own. I got to stay at a friend's house. He helped me out, which I was happy for, and thank you. Um, I had to be driven around a lot. It was it was hard. I later I was talking to the insurance. The insurance wanted to, of course, I was with State Farm. Found out it was the worst insurance to be with medically for motorcycle insurance. They said it was at a like yellow. She said it was yellow. Uh, I don't know where they got that from. Um, but yeah, they wanted to say, oh, she was just being cautious, basically. She was just being cautious. So it's okay, basically. And I should have slowed down, which I was going to. I mean, you're going the speed limit, and you're going the speed limit, and you're always cautious. I'm telling you, when I'm riding, I'm very cautious when I'm riding. And at that moment, I'm like, so stopping on a green light is just being cautious and everything, basically, which is crazy. Yeah, because I rear-ended her, they're saying it's basically my fault. Before, they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we can see if we can help you out with the medical bills and the bike. And then they will call me next time to re-ask me what happened. Because each time it's a different person. Then they'll be like, oh yeah, we can probably help you out with the bike, but probably not the medical. And then they call me again. They're like, we can help you with the medical, but not the bike. Same thing, just different every time. And they like I put it through all the claim information through the app, which I thought it was nice. You put the photos through, you put what happened, like you put in the insurance, you put all its insurance information in for them to disclaim. At the end of the day, they're like, we see it as your fault, even though we can't find the driver and everything. So I gave. They were like, you can get the police information, get the police report and everything. They looked at it, and they were saying it as my fault. At the time of the accident, I was looking for cameras. Now, at that particular traffic light, they used to have cameras there, but they took them out because there was too many accidents. Take that with what you will. Which was stupid. Now, there's a Starbucks that was right there. Here's the intersection. There's a Starbucks right there. I asked them, was there cameras? Do y'all have any cameras pointing this way? They're like, not really, but we can see. And they're like, we might have one that's pointing to the parking lot to see if we can get a close view of it. The other building, they don't have cameras out there, so that was no one. They were my only option to get a view of what happened. And even they're like, you could put in a submission for cameras, but at the end of the day, you could put that in, but only the police can access it, which is weird. I don't understand why. Somebody can comment down below and tell me why, but I don't get it. But yeah, they're like, police can only check it. And I'm like, okay, so that's not an option. I feel like I say a lot. Guys, I gotta remember not to press the space bar because it stopped recording and I freaking paused it. Anyway, yeah, I forgot to tell y'all that at the time I was at the hospital, when I was laying down, I think I had a slight concussion because I was looking around and I started seeing like white dots. Like, you know how you see stars sometimes? I started seeing white dots everywhere and it was freaking me out. And so they're like, you might have a slight concussion. So it happened way later while I was in the hospital. It was crazy. But yeah, the one thing that was hard was asking people to drive me around. It was easy for the first, like that initial time when you're in a wreck and people offer to help all the time. And this time I took it and it was like, oh yeah, it's people are being helpful as much as they can. They feel bad that you're in a wreck, and it's like you feel bad for taking that offer, but you need it. And so at that time, it was irritating because like you had no transportation. You have I was living out of Boulevard, so there's no. I couldn't get Uber out there. I couldn't get groceries delivered out there. It was so hard. It was like, dang, with all the delivery apps and the stuff that I could take advantage of, I can't even do that. I couldn't get groceries and everything. It's like I have animals to take care of still. I still have to eat. The only bills I got, I live in a trailer, so there's no rent I have to pay. It's just light bill, water bill, and then like property tax, and so and phone bill. So it's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about being kicked out, but it's like you gotta worry about keeping your water bill, electric bill up. It's like it's still hot in the trailer. At the time, my electric bill was sky high, and so I went without electricity for a while. And but I think I had electricity still at the time, so I wasn't out that time. And so it was one of my friends was the main person picking me up and driving me around. The first 2 days I was out of the hospital, I was at a friend's house, and I was sleeping at his house, and he basically had to pick me up and carry me because that's how bad I was at working. I didn't have crutches, and I didn't have a wheelchair. I only used the hospital wheelchair. And luckily, he kept me over and took care of me. And after the 2 days, I went back to my house and I used crutches I had at home to walk around. Barely could do that. That was hard in itself. So afterwards, I was on pain medication and antibiotics that they did not give you enough of. The antibiotics seemed to work more than the pain medicine. Pain medicine did not felt like it kicked in at all for me. I don't know why, but it was hard. Um, my friends came over to visit, which was really sweet because I was bored. And one time, I asked my friend to, like, I ordered McDonald's and then she helped deliver it. And it was really sweet. I paid her for the delivering it home, and that was really sweet. Had about 4 or 5 friends help me. When one friend couldn't help me drive, another friend would do it, and I really appreciate everybody who helped me out in driving. I felt bad a lot of the times, for my for constantly asking people to drive me around. Um, yeah, it was. I hated doing that a lot, which I know I had to, but it was really irritating because I had no other choice at the time. I was really bad with money because, of course, I bought a motorcycle, and with the amount of money I had, I kind of went overboard with the spending, which I was really bad with, and I should have bought a vehicle. I should have bought a vehicle, but I always dreamed of having a motorcycle, so it was like, hey, I can finally drop $5 grand on a motorcycle with no worries. Which I did stupidly without no backup like vehicle, because a family friend gave me a vehicle to use, and I spent 200 up above dollars just changing the brakes and putting a new battery in. So he ended up taking that away from me because I didn't talk to him, which was stupid. I didn't talk to him and did not want to be associated with him because of the way he acted, but that's another time. So I had no transportation and I had to constantly ask people for giving me rides. It did get to a point where I got better. I still had a swollen knee, but I could still work because of the type of work I was doing. I was standing on my feet for 8 hours and giving out samples and making plates. So it wasn't such a hard thing. Before, there was a point where I tried to get Uber to this one I found out to come to my house. So basically, when I tried, I was back and forth from Uber Lyft. I was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'm gonna try to get, because that day I couldn't get anybody to drive me. So I put in the thing and it's like, oh, just A to B, where you need to go. We got drivers in your location. So you're seeing like 6 or 7 cars in your location trying to, like, even, you're trying to get that drivers. And so it's like, oh, in 8 minutes we'll check to see if driver, pick a driver. None of them, it kept saying that every 8-10 minutes it said it would get a driver for me. Nothing. It's 7 o'clock now. I have to be at work at like 8, 7 in the morning. could not get one. Multiple times I had to call out work because of the fact that I could not get a Uber or anybody to take me to work. So it's frustrating on my boss and it's frustrating on me that I have to be at work because at the job I had, it had no benefits. So there's no PTO, there's nothing. So when you call out work, there's no sick day, there's no paid leave, nothing. So when you call out work, that's just you losing money totally. There's no side jobs I had because I had no transportation. So I was out of work on those days and it was irritating. Mind you, I enjoy being off work because it's like no work, you get to sit on your butt and just rest, but you're also bored, out of your mind, with nothing to do. You're at your house. All I did was clean and sit on my phone, and it got really boring. Work is something that you're always going to have to do. You're always going to have to do something because it keeps your mind going. So when I started getting better, I can start going to work. I started with being able to go to work. So my friend would drop me off, pick me up, and take me home. It then got to a point where he could pick me up, but I have to go to his place of work, stay there, and he'll drive me back once he's done. And so that would be a constant thing. Then it was like, you could stay at my place of residence, and I could drop you back and forth from there. It'll be shorter. So I was like, okay, that'd be a lot better for him. So you wouldn't have to drive all the way up to my house to pick me up. Then it was like, oh, okay, you could drive back and forth to work, and then I'd be on a bicycle in the afternoon, which I liked a lot better because that way it would be less on gas, and I could still get back and forth to work on time and everything. Because it didn't matter what time I got back home, it just mattered on what time I got there. So it was easier that way. And then after a while, a lot of times I would be late to work, or it would be my own fault that I'm late to work. It kind of got bad to a point where my boss was like, hey, you might have to find a different, because he kept working around my schedules. He kept being like, hey, I could put you in afternoons instead, but I really need you in the morning, because the people she had working was mostly high schoolers. So of course high schoolers need to go in the morning and they could work after their shift. I was the only one that could work mornings, so she really needed me in mornings. So it started getting to a point where I would come in late, and she knows the reason why I'm coming late is because I rely on other people's transportation. So it was like, you probably need transportation, right? Which I felt extremely bad because she's so nice, and it's hard on her because it's like I'm not reliable at that point where she could know that I'm coming in to work early and I'm going to be there. It's irritating. It's like every day you have to worry about whether or not that person will be at work, which I understood. Luckily she got me on. And so after a while, I finally got my transportation. The only thing it took was radiator hose and battery and everything, and I got my transportation back on. So I finally had transportation to go to and from work. Of course, when I moved out, yes, when I moved out, I was still working at the Japanese restaurant.
So this was when I moved into my apartment in like November or whatever. I moved in my no. I know I'm all over the place. Excuse me, but I was in my apartment, and that person was still driving me back and forth to that job, and yeah, and so my friends finally got my motorcycle to my apartment, and then after that, got it back working and everything. So yeah, so I had transportation finally after months and months of not having transportation, and till this day, my knee is still numb. My knee is numb. If anybody can comment, a medical profession can tell me why my knee is still numb. I don't understand why. I need to go to the doctor and get it checked out, but yeah, I need to get that checked out. But yes, so I am at the time still riding that bike, and so I just had transportation again. I was happy and everything, and so I started working at a different job and everything, and found the job close to me to work. So even if I have no transportation, I can still go to and from work. And now it's to a point. My whole life is a mess, and so when I recall things, it's kind of hard. I forget things a lot. Certain things I can remember. So that's another reason why I like to make vlogs and everything, because it's kind of like my personal diary. It's like a modern day diary of things that happened to me and look back upon. And so it's nice to document things and look back upon things and everything. So another reason why I made this video was because I have lost my motorcycle again. But this one is total loss now. And it's very sad because it was the first purchase I made of a vehicle myself. And so it'll be coming after this one, and it'll be a second video on another crash that happened to my motorcycle, which is sad because when I bought that bike, it was pretty much brand new. Not a scratch on that bike, and that bike only had 300 miles on it. Now it's like I haven't even did any, and I haven't even did a lot of really riding out of that. I never even had to go to a track on. Not that I could take it to a track on that bike. It's slow, but I would love to, and now I can't because of what happened in the next one. So I'm gonna end it here. Tell me about y'all stories if y'all ever went into a motorcycle crash and what happened, and I would love to know. So this will be the end of the video. I'll see y'all in the next one, and y'all stay safe out there because there's a lot of idiots out there, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.